Hi everybody, this is a black and white control deck I threw together to try to take advantage of Kaya Intangible Slayer. Kaya's a great top-end finisher for any control deck in that it gains us a bit of life, acts as a damage-based win condition, card draw, and a bit of exile and utility with her last ability. We've combined her with some of the best elements of the mono-black control decks and thrown in some of the most fun parts of any white control-leaning list, along with a couple of other things which I'll go over real quick. We've got a copy of Lion Sash in here because we needed one more way to exile things from our opponent's graveyard, and sometimes that reconfigurability is nice because it can leave us with a creature behind. If the thing that it's sitting on gets removed, we still get the sash back, so kind of interesting there. I've got a couple of copies of Cathar Commando as a combination creature and enchantment artifact removal. This is great for surprising opponents with planeswalkers and getting in those last few points of damage sometimes. And then I've also got a fun copy of Cloudsteel Kirin in here to see if we can't keep from losing the game, although that didn't turn out to be too much of a problem with this deck. I feel like our win record was pretty good. The rest of it's pretty straightforward. We've got Owl the Dawn Sky, one copy of Invoke Justice, and Junji to complement our 3 copies of Invoke Despair for some nice late-game card draw and damage here. Our mana base tries to support as much of those colors as possible, but we really do want to focus a little bit more on black just for Invoke Despair and our other few things. Notably, we don't have any board wipes in here, so it's all targeted removal and permanent recursion. So just gotta watch out for the people who like to go wide with lots of tokens sometimes. At any rate, this was a pretty fun one. I love being able to test out Kaya a little bit on the standard ladder. So let's get over and see some games with this deck on the ranked standard ladder. I'll be with you for some commentary, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. All right, starting off here with a little bit of black-white control. Got a cat on my lap, so it is all good. Let's lead off with Scoured Barrens. Gain us a little bit of life here. Let's get land number 2 into a regular Tenacious Underdog. Opponent also looks to be on black and white. Could be Esper too. There are some lists floating around with that. All right. Well, let's get in with the Tenacious Underdog. Or at least attempt to. We'll see if they want to remove this. Opponent's going to cut it down. Sends that to the grave, so we'll play land number 3 and go right into Graveyard Trespasser. And we'll remove that cut down they just played. Opponent holding priority there, probably just from Blast Zone. Opponent casts Wedding Announcement. Let's get in then with our Graveyard Trespasser. We'll keep our underdog in the graveyard, thanks Arena. Opponent is going to chump block with their human token. We'll play land number 4 and go right into Sorin here. And we will plus Sorin, keep the card draw coming. Got a nice option to get Junji down next turn. Opponent with Wedding Announcement number 2. So they are getting 2 free human tokens there. Let's draw again with Sorin, see what we got on the top here. Sheoldred, that's worth the 4 life. We'll pay to draw.
Blood for knowledge.
Get in with the Trespasser. Again, declining that trigger. We've got a combat trick in the Wanderer in case anything happens here. But nope, they just let it through, goes to 17. Well, let's get Sheoldred down. Keep this Wanderer in our back pocket, although they do know about it. And we've got 1 mana left to cut something down if they play anything more dangerous than these humans. Alright, so go for the throat. They're going to hit Sheoldred. Looks like they are in fact Esper. Goes to combat, is going to try to get in at Sorin. So yeah, we'll just cut the 1 token down that they're throwing at him. Goes to the end, gets 2 more humans, and flips the first wedding announcement. So they've got a bevy of 2/2s over there. Let's get down our Junji rather than hold up the Emperor here. No sense in wasting that lovely exile ability on some lowly tokens. And we'll play Sorin's 2/3 vampire ability here. Just hang back for a moment. Just wanted to get enough creatures on board to keep drawing with Sorin on our next turn, so we just got to keep him alive. Alright, we pick up a Tenacious Underdog. Let's get in and attack with our flyers. Hit our opponent for 7 here. Threaten to kind of take them out of the game with 1 attack next turn. Let's do a little draw with Sorin. Probably should have done this first, but that's okay. He reveals a swamp, so we'll take that.
You wish to know my secrets?
And let's play out 1 regular Underdog. And let's pass the turn, go from there. We could be able to flash in our Wanderer and put a counter on one of our flyers and get in for exactly lethal and might not see it coming. Alright, they're going to put a counter on Blast Zone, so they could be trying to get rid of something here. Let's see. Sacrifices Blast Zone with 2 counters on it. That gets rid of the Underdog, but the flyers remain. Decides to throw a few tokens over at Sorin. Gonna attack Sorin with 3. Nope. Making up our minds here. Gonna attack Sorin with 2 tokens. We'll block one of those. They're tapped out and can't do anything else. That's fine.
Your blood will be mine.
Alright, well, let's flash in the Wanderer. Put a +1/+1 counter. Yep, they see it coming. Good game. This looks pretty good. Let's go with this. We've got an early Cathar Commando if we want to flash that in and block something. Nice Infernal Grasp for some removal. And then we can hopefully refill our hand with some Sorin on turn 4. Keep this Wanderer around for our opponent's most dangerous thing. That's Seed Core. Yep, that usually signifies some kind of toxic deck. So we've got a little toxic flyer from our opponent. Let's play our Commando here and might see about threatening them with some of this damage. We'll grasp their creature and get in for 3. The other thing is, if they play Skrelv at all, Skrelv is an artifact creature, unlike a lot of the other toxic creatures. Alright, opponent with a Contaminator. We may just pass here. See if we can get him with the Wanderer as they go to attacks. You gotta kind of like act like you're hesitating sometimes if you're thinking about attacking. I don't want to give away the fact that we're sitting on a Wanderer. Alright, let's exile that with the Wanderer's ability then as they go to attacks, leaving them with just a Venerated Rot Priest and this Rat. Alright, land number 5. What do we do? Let's put a counter on this Cathar.
Strike fast and strike hard.
And then let's get Sorin down rather than play this Underdog. Make a Vampire with Sorin and no attacks. So we've got enough blockers for now. If anything happens to Sorin, we do have a backup copy of him waiting in hand. Opponent is going to afflict our Vampire. And they will go into attacks, aiming for the Wandering Emperor. So let's block their Rot Priest, get rid of that. They don't have anything to save it. And the Rat gets in and takes care of the Wanderer. I'm going to draw with Sorin here. Nice free land with a little bit of life off the top. And might as well hit them. We're going to play our regular Underdog here. A fine blocker. Opponent attempts to get in at Sorin. I will definitely take that trade. Underdog trades with the rat. They get to proliferate, but we don't have any poison counters yet, so not much to proliferate there. Opponent follows up with a second rat. Let's take a look on the top with Sorin here. A Sanctum. Well, we're comfortable on life. Let's get our Underdog out of the grave with its Blitz ability and go attacking. We'll hang back with the Cathar on blocks. Keep this Sorin around a little bit longer and keep on drawing. Alright. We pick up a Sheoldred with that trigger as our opponent casts Vraska's Fall. So we can either sacrifice the Cathar or Sorin. We're going to go with the Cathar. Opponent attacks Sorin for 2, but he's still around. Let's play Sheoldred. I think that makes sense, yes. And we should be able to draw here. Yep, we'll reveal. It's essentially free thanks to Sheoldred's ability. Oh, nope, never mind. Let's get our Tenacious Underdog on. It's a put into your hand ability. It is not a draw. This is a draw, though, as we go right into Kaya. Big 7-mana Kaya here. We can certainly afford to put that down. Opponent with an Obliterator. That is some good defense for sure. Let's see, just refreshing my memory on what Kaya does here. We're going to cut down the rat. Opponent will get a free proliferate, so we'll go up to 2 poison counters. And then we'll bring Big Kaya in here. Use that ability to exile the Obliterator. We end up with a 1/1 copy of it, and Sheoldred finishes the job. Good game. Let's keep this one. It's kind of a tricky 2-lander, but we've got a Bankbuster in hand. So let's get our black and white land down first. Opponent with an exuberant Fuseling. Looks to be on the mono-red oil train. We're going to play Tenacious Underdog on regular mode as a good blocker. Opponent is going to eat alive our Underdog. That's a great answer to that card. Unfortunately, we do have a backup copy for them, so that is all right with me. Get our Raffine's tower down. Start setting us up for a turn 4 where hopefully we can lay Sorin on a board that's not too threatening for him. Well, that's a new one. Opponent plays the Thane, so we're going to get Sorin down. And we will use him to reveal and put into our hand. Yes.
Nothing on Innistrad is free.
One thing I do like about Sorin's ability, it never feels bad when you reveal a land. You're like, oh, yeah, I'll take a free land. That's fine. Funny how the feeling of that design works out. So opponent with a Drown in Ichor here on our Underdog. It's going to clear the way to get in at Sorin if they want to. But luckily, since we plussed him, he's up at 5, so just going to drop down a little bit there. Well, first things first, let's reveal with Sorin and see what we're getting. We see a Lion Sash. Yeah, I think that's worth the 2 life. That's the going rate on greed back from Legends. Let's get our Bankbuster down here, follow it up with Lion Sash. We've got 1 left over to activate the Sash. And Sorin is kind of keeping us in the cards right now, so not feeling like we need to hold up mana to draw with the Reckoner Bankbuster right now. Opponent with a Graveyard Trespasser. My old nemesis. Let's see. Well, since it's on its way out anyway, let's eat it first with the Lion Sash and prevent them from gaining the life. You never know when 1 life could come in handy. And they're going to go attacking Sorin again with the 2/2 Thane.
Your blood will be mine.
Nothing else. All right, so we draw a Plains. Well, if nothing else, we're getting closer to Kaya, so that's okay. Let's see what Sorin can find for me. Just a land. All right. Endless lands.
To know my secrets.
Let's see. Probably tap land now so that we can use an untapped land for Kaya next turn. And we'll just pass it on over. Unfortunately, that means it's night, so the Graveyard Trespasser flips over to its Glutton side as a 4/4. Opponent having a good think here. A Fuseling. Gets an oil counter. Have yet to see Urabrask's Forge or something else that might go along with these cards. Okay, they're going to try to drown in Ichor this Lion Sash. What do they have? I don't know if there's enough permanents down there to save our Sash, but we can at least eat this creature on the way out. You can't trust those red and black colors to not bring back creatures from the grave, so we might as well eat it. Not doing anything else with that mana. And let's crew it up before it dies. Use the Lion Sash to crew up Bankbuster before the Lion Sash perishes. And we can at least block the Thane if they want to try to attack with that. Could possibly even trade with this Trespasser. Yeah, they're going to threaten Sorin with it. And attack face with the Thane. So the Glutton is going to eat our Lion Sash out of the grave for 1 damage. Yeah, let's trade here. Let's block, and we can draw a card with the Bankbuster before it gets out of here. Oh. Opponent with Undying Malice. And it's going to bring the Glutton back. Thought we were getting a decent trade out of it, but it's not to be so. That is going to put an extra counter on the Fuseling. Glutton is going to come back in and take 2 cards out of our graveyard. Let's Cathar Commando in that case. Flips back over, but it's still kind of big. So we've got just enough. We can either Emperor or Kaya here. It may be worth doing Kaya and exiling the... Oh, okay. Opponent's seen enough. Good game. All right, this looks pretty decent. We've got 3 lands. Got a little Trespasser to go down on turn 3. Let's see. Just start us off with a basic swamp, so we've got Cut Down available for whatever they play here. Opponent with a Kessig Naturalist, so we're going to cut that down. Definitely lets the Werewolves get out of control. Get our Scoured Barrens down as we pick up Kaya. Big Kaya, I should say. She's got a few different forms in this format. Let's get Graveyard Trespasser going. We can eat that werewolf out of the graveyard. Pass it on back. Plan to Sheoldred next turn. Opponent with no follow-up play. We will get in for 4 then, since the Trespasser has flipped over into Glutton. Land number 4 and Sheoldred. Can really see the devastating mana curve that mono black tends to have as you go Trespasser, Sheoldred into possibly Invoke Despair. Opponent with a Nissa and makes a 4/4 token. Well, that lines up perfectly with Invoke Despair here. And that will wrap it up. Good game. All right, I think it's a little expensive, but we've got to cut down to maybe dodge the first few turns of the game. And we're playing first, which never hurts. Opponent with a Plaza of Heroes. What flavor of legends do you have for me today? We draw Invoke Despair and get down our third land. Opponent with the Eyes of Gaia. Well, no. That falls under the Bolt the Bird category, so we'll take care of that. Unfortunately, no land here, so just Lion Sash from us. Might as well go ahead and eat that out of our opponent's graveyard. Is it strategically the right play? No. Does it prevent me from having to click over to the next phase? Absolutely. Well, there's land number 4. Opponent's got an Urza on the board, and they could go right into Mightstone and Weakstone next turn, plus they get a discount. We might be alright for one turn to let that live. Let's make a creature and protect Sorin. We can start drawing next turn with him. If they've got the Mightstone, then we can grasp Urza. Oh, they've got Joda. Okay. Makes Urza big, but they decide not to attack. We just chump it anyway. Sorin reveals a land. We'll definitely draw that. Let's see. We can grasp Joda or Invoke Despair. I think we got to grasp Joda here. Just the snowbally effect it makes is just too good. Thinking about attacks. No, but I will put the Sash onto this vampire. There's a lot of text on these cards. We might be able to trick somebody into attacking into this. Oh, but they have a follow-up Joda. Of course they do. Urza going to get in. Let's use the Lion Sash to eat the former Joda. Bring our vampire up to a 4/5. That's an easy block right there. Gain a little bit of life. Put some in the bank for Sorin to draw some cards with. All right, we draw Trespasser, so let's see what else we can get with Sorin. Great. Land number 6. Let's Invoke Despair then. No other options, really. I imagine they'll sacrifice Urza and keep Joda around. That hits our opponent for 4, and we pick up 2 copies of the Wandering Emperor. Do we attack? Why not? Opponent's kind of low. We have another Invoke Despair in hand. We could jank him out next turn. We've got just enough to do 10 damage here. Okay, let's pass it over. Opponent attacking in at Sorin. That's okay.
Things have not gone my way.
Wait a minute. Opponent with a second. Oh, that's the third Joda. Doing it just for the pull something out of your library ability. I like that. Well, we're going to eat Joda. That will bring our vampire up to 5. Guess we didn't need to do that, but, you know, it's worth the flavor. And let's see. We will eat something else just for good measure. Opponent acting like they have something to do over there. Let's get in for 6 then. Great. And now if we Invoke Despair, even if they sacrifice a creature, they're still going to take 4. All right. Thought they had something there. Whew. Close one. Good game. All right. Let's get it going here. Plenty of lands. A couple of early plays. Seems all right. Oh, did we get mirror matched by MTG Arena again? Opponent with a Scoured Barrens to start off with. Well, let's get our second land down. If this is more of a control-y style build, we can flash in a commando and start doing some damage. No, this is probably going to be a sacrificial build. We'll do this anyway. Hold up a blocker. threaten to take away the thing they want to sacrifice to something else. Opponent in the tank. Cathar Commando causing some problems here. Opponent's going to attack. I'm kind of happy to throw this away right now, especially staring at this Invoke Justice in hand. If we really want to bring it back, we can, and we've left our opponent with just a decayed zombie creature. We can hold up the Wanderer here, and that might be the play, just to start making some tokens, and then play out Sheoldred. Those colors, they're likely sitting on some creature removal, so playing out Sheoldred there, she might just eat a little removal. But again, we've got Invoke Justice, so either one probably okay. Opponent gets in with a decayed zombie, so maybe they're not trying to sacrifice things. Let's try to get the Wanderer going. They do have an instant here.
But I'm going to end it.
Fateful Absence. That'll take care of the Wanderer. We got a little Vigilant Samurai and a clue token out of the deal. We pick up Tenacious Underdog. Let's go to combat. Attack with the Samurai. No response from the opponent there. Let's take the opportunity to get down our Raffine's tower and try Sheoldred. Depending on the removal they've got available, we could be heading towards a 7-mana turn where we can do both Invoke Justice and a regular Tenacious Underdog. Opponent does have the removal for Sheoldred in Valorous Stance. 3 cards left, goes with Elsbeth. And they will try to pull something out of the library here. They get a Giada with a shield counter. Alright, well, we can play Swamp. Then our options would be Sorin Underdog, and I think that's probably the way to go. Or we could draw with this clue token. Invoke Justice would get us either Wanderer or Sheoldred. Neither of those is really going to take care of the Wanderer. So let's make a flying blocker with Sorin here. See if we can buy us a turn to start drawing with him. Invoke Despair, a great answer to a board like this. The shield token doesn't protect Giada from sacrifice. Vanquish the Horde, huh? Okay. So Giada remains thanks to the shield token, and we see another hobbling zombie from the opponent. Opponent looking to plus Elsbeth here. And go with First Strike. It's going to take out our Sorin, unfortunately.
We're all doomed.
We get an Infernal Grasp. Well, it's no hero's downfall, I'll tell you that much. Let's get rid of the flyer. Waiting on our opponent here. Not sure what they've got holding up priority there. And then we will follow up with a blitzed Underdog, trying to get in at Elsbeth. As expected, they're going to throw the zombie in front of it, but they'll be left with something that can't block, and we do pick up an extra card. Might as well play this extra Swamp. We don't have a whole lot of use for holding cards to discard in this deck. Opponent main phases Cathar Commando. Might be putting a +1/+1 counter on it. They do. Give it flying. And they get in with the zombie. Alright. Well, frustratingly, still can't really get in at Elsbeth effectively here. Oh, wait a minute. We pick up another Infernal Grasp. Well, it may be worth grasping this commando and then trying to get her low enough where the only ability left to her is putting a +1/+1 counter on something. And depending on their draw next turn, that could be nothing. All right, they're going to sack the commando in response, take care of our clue token. That's fine. I was going to spend this mana on Underdog anyway. We will get in, reduce Elspeth to 1. Underdog will pick us up a card, and it's a Caves of Koilos.
This is your fight.
Elspeth ticks up on nothing. Great. We finally get Invoke Despair. You're a couple of turns too late there, buddy. We'll fire you off anyway. We pick up 2 cards. Elspeth goes away. Not enough mana to do much else. Opponent sitting on 2 cards. We see an Elas. Decent with a decaying zombie token coming in and out of play. Wonder if they have Jadar in there. Let's get Junji the Midnight Sky going. We do have a few nice things in our graveyard. We could maybe reanimate. We probably should have pressed the attack with Underdog there. So our opponent's got a Ghoulish Procession. Well, I think it's Wanderer time. Gain back a little bit of life here and feel just a little bit safer. Luckily, there's no Meat Hook Massacre in the format anymore. So that was interesting. They cut down their own creature to get the trigger from the procession. Right, let's get down Lion Sash. And then we can invoke Despair. Oh, sorry, invoke Justice with Sorin. And we'll have creatures to put counters on. Let's do 2 there on the Sash and 2 on Junji. Then we will plus, no. Let's make a vampire. We're a little low.
You fight for me.
And we're definitely ahead on cards. So let's see if we can buy a little time. Start lifelinking our way back up a little bit and pay for the stuff that Sorin wants to give us. Opponent with Inspiring Overseer. They do play Giada in that deck. That's a great turn 2 into turn 3 combination. Opponent with a land. Alright, they're going to pass it on over. Let's use Lion Sash then. Start eating things out of the graveyard as we can. And yep, alright, opponent wraps it on up. Good game. I think we can keep this. Smells like turn 1 Shattered Sanctum into Underdog or Grasp. And then we follow up with whatever else we draw off the top. Opponent starting off with a Xander's Lounge into a Zeator's Proving Ground. So this smells a little like Domain to me. A lot of smells in this game, apparently. Inexplicable. Opponent's going to cut down our Tenacious Underdog. We draw Sheoldred. Fortunately, no Trespasser to play on 3, but hey, we'll get there. Okay, opponent just passes it back. Let's do Sorin. I wonder if they're holding on to the Flash Exile card. Leyline Binding, that's the one. Nope, they got a Hero's Downfall for Sorin, so we will get a look. It's a Sheoldred. I think it's worth it.
My ways are not.
Opponent's deck doesn't look too aggressive, so let's try to get Sheoldred going. If they remove it, then we'll have a backup copy. Right now, we're kind of in like mid-game Haymaker territory if we can pull this off. Opponent casts Shadow Prophecy. Gets a good look at the top and picks up 2 cards. Another swamp. I was wondering, are you a black-based domain deck? They hit us with Invoke Despair. Takes out Sheoldred and hits us for 4. We can Junji. We can hit him back with a Despair. Let's Junji. We've already got a lot of action in this hand, and if they take out Junji... Alright, just a Sorin. If they want to destroy Junji, we can make them discard.
So fortunate of them. You will serve me well.
Makes a vampire. Looking at the hand. We're going to duress us. So they can take Wandering Emperor, Grasp, or Despair. They take the Wanderer. We pick up a second copy of Grasp. Well, Invoke Despair was made for situations like this. Let's take out that vampire. Take out that Sorin. Pick up a Cathar Commando. Bring our opponent down to 9. They know about this Sheoldred, so they really can't get that much lower. Drag to the bottom is going to take out Junji. Let's see what they've got. Nothing worth reanimating over there. We've got a Sheoldred. Might be worth reanimating since they're so low. Well, let's make them discard. We've got a Sheoldred in hand anyway. And reanimating it now doesn't really do more damage to them. I mean, I guess aside from attacking them, it would have got them to 1 anyway. It's fine. Let's play this dragon for fun. No answer. All right, let's see if you have an answer during combat. Hero's Downfall. Definitely a must-answer threat, as they know we're holding Sheoldred here to finish the game. All right, well, the Dawn Sky lets us pick up a permanent from the top few cards of the deck. So we get Sorin. We'll play out Sheoldred here. Let's make a vampire, just continue to keep some threatening stuff on the board, and we're still sitting on a 5-card hand, so no need to make Sorin draw this turn. Cut down our vampire, unfortunately. Sheoldred's trigger brings them down to 5. Ugh, and they hit us with Invoke Despair right back. Takes out our Sheoldred and our Sorin. Opponent's sitting at 5. We can regular Underdog here. Keep up Grasp for any blockers, and then we might be able to flash in Cathar Commando. We got to kind of see what they play. Opponent with a Sorin. How safe are we feeling here? Making a vampire, trying to get some life back, but we've got this cut down in hand. Let's cut down that vampire. Play our own Cathar Commando at instant speed. That's enough for lethal unless you've got a cut down in hand. And we even got some combat tricks in the Wanderer. Let's see what you got, opponent. Oh, we got there. Nice. Good game.